Next up in the Masters of the Universe Classics, we have an all-time favourite character of mine. This is ClampChamp. ClampChamp comes in your standard Masters of the Universe packaging. We get to see the other figures on the back, and we also get ClampChamp's new bio, which ties him into the story of Man-at-Arms becoming a Snake Man. It's a storyline that I'm not a big fan of, but it is kind of cool that they elevated ClampChamp to a senior position as Master of Weapons. So the vintage figure of ClampChamp is one of my favourites. Never had it as a kid, but I did pick it up when I started collecting in the late 90s. So this new version of ClampChamp is a figure I was definitely looking forward to. And I've got to say, I'm a little bit disappointed with this one. Sculpting wise, there's not a lot to go wrong on this figure. It should be the basic He-Man body, done with a dark skin, and with the classic armour over the top. However, they managed to screw that up a little bit. Around the back we've got this thing. I believe it was added around the time the Four Horsemen did the NECA Staction version of ClampChamp, and I really don't like to see that stuck on the back. And to top it all off, it's really squashy and it feels really cheap. My other issue with the armour is when you're leaning back you can see this huge gap under there. It really does spoil the look of the figure. Armour aside though, if you get the right angle, the figure looks pretty good. So what about weapons? Well, it couldn't be ClampChamp without this giant oversized clamp that the vintage figure came with. It has a really nice updated design. Obviously the action feature is gone, but they do still retain the little red piece that looks like the button, although it doesn't actually press down. And it does have this nicely sculpted bit with some new colours on there. And although it does lack the action feature, we can actually just bring these bits out manually. And it does mean you can do something the vintage figure could never do, and that's have him posed with the clamps extended. On the original it was spring loaded, so as soon as you let go of that red button, the clamps would retract. My only issue with this piece really is it feels very light and cheap, and you can see the handle there. The handle moves a little bit too much for my liking. And they've also chosen to give him this other clamp weapon. I wasn't expecting much from this, but it turns out I actually prefer this over the classic clamps. It's pretty basic and simple, but it actually does look pretty cool. So overall I think this is a decent update. It does have its flaws, but if you pose him right, make sure you don't have that big gap and you don't look at that silly thing on his back, he can look pretty good. So there you go guys, that was ClampChamp from the Masters of the Universe Classics. This is Luke, thank you for watching.